Hello, Bookhouse. Welcome back, both to you and to me, because once again, I forgot I had a YouTube channel. One thing that it took the entire summer for me to figure out is that if everyone else is taking summer Fridays, why am I not doing the same? Since no one is responding to my emails on Fridays anyway. So today is Friday, and I've decided I am going to really work on my physical TBR today. And I have 3 books here that I'm hoping to read today. The first one is The High Mountain Court, which I'm already 120 pages in. I started it yesterday, and honestly, I could have finished it yesterday, but I kept getting distracted. Um, but if I really power through, I do truly believe that I can finish this relatively quickly. It reads very fast once I'm like actually paying attention. I did ask on TikTok if it's worth to like read the entire series. It looks like there's 5 in the series. And so far people are saying yes. So that could be something that I'll be reading once I finish my physical TBR. The second book is The Art of Vanishing, which I have been absolutely feral for months since I found out about it, honestly. I'm really excited to read it. I've had to put it off because it is my upcoming September brunch book club book. And if I read it too far in advance, then what am I going to remember to talk about, you know? So I'm really, really excited for this. I adore Morgan. I think she's a fabulous human being. And I just know that anything she writes about art is going to be spectacular. So, yeah, you bet your ass I'm reading this today. Finally. And then last but not least is When the Moon Hatched, which is one of the last like bigger books on my physical TBR, other than, of course, the Legendborn series. I did hear that this is available on Kindle Unlimited, so I might honestly be reading it not physical form, but on my Kindle. We'll see. I have a Kindle Oasis. Okay, actually, you know what? Side quest. I have a Kindle Basic, a Kindle Paperwhite, and a Kindle Oasis. The Oasis used to be my grandma's, and she like never used it. And then when she passed, my grandpa asked if my mom wanted it, and my mom had it, I think, for like 3 days and was like, "I don't need this," and I was like, let me take that from you. I love the Oasis. I love it so much. I have been looking for the charger for my Oasis for like 4 months. Couldn't find it anywhere. Literally. I searched all of the places that I have all of my chargers. I must have left it at like a coffee shop or something. Anyway, finally, I just like decided, okay, you can spend $10 to get a new charger because I haven't been able to use my Oasis in those 4 months because it's been dead. And so, yeah, I'm actually kind of looking forward to reading off of my Oasis today. It's the little things that really get book lovers through the day. But yeah, sorry, side quest over. So When the Moon Hatched, I don't think I will finish this book today, but I do think it would be nice to get like at least like 1/3, maybe even half of the way through. I do say that now, but if you remember my last readathon video, was it my last one? The fantasy 12-hour readathon that I did? She haunts me. She really does. I remember the thing I wanted to do with that was to like time how long it actually took me to read 12 hours and how much I was actually reading in the like actual 12 hours. And I told myself that I would just read for like 12 actual hours. And then I think what ended up happening is I read like 13 hours and I think I went to bed at like 3 a.m. Should I do timestamps? Should I time things? I think the thing that I'm not going to do today is like really push myself. I think I'm just going to read. I'm going to focus on my reading. I'm going to make a little video about it. And then if it doesn't happen, at least I'll have some content that you guys will unfortunately have to watch. All 5 of my followers, all 5 of my bookos and my mom. Amazing. I'm going to go make some coffee. You know what? I'll bring you with me. Let's go make some coffee. If you're wondering what all of these books are on my kitchen table, these are all of the books I have been sent in the months since I started my physical TBR challenge. So yeah, there's like 90 books here. I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh my God, instant? That's crazy. But just, I do a Greek frappe and I can't have caffeine, so I do decaf. So this is going to make sense in like 5 seconds, I promise. This jar is also going to make sense in like 5 seconds. Okay, I'm going to walk you guys through this, but I do 1 cup of the instant, and then I do the same amount of sugar. Oh, shit. I can't be trusted in the kitchen. Then I just added 2 little scoops of water, and then you just shake the ever-living shit out of this for like 30 seconds. So my rule of thumb is to shake it until you can't hear the little sugar cubes anymore. And then, ta-da! Oh my gosh, so fun. This cup is available on Etsy. I would be remiss to not say so. Hashtag business. I also add vanilla. There she is. Wow, fun. Ta-da! I hope you enjoyed my coffee interlude. Yay. I learned this method from this woman who was our tour guide when I was studying abroad, and she was like our day guide to like get us to everywhere that we needed to go. And she came to our like lodging area one morning and she was like, "Ew, they have bad coffee here." And I was like, "I've literally never had bad coffee in Greece in my life, but pop off, Karina." And then she like just made this in front of me, and I was like, "Girl, you have to teach me," because I hate brewing coffee. So every once in a while, I have a recovered memory that I can do this, and it's great. Enough about coffee, let's get into reading. The High Mountain Court, I am enjoying it so far. I think it's like, in my opinion, a brain off book. And that doesn't mean that I'm not like reading critically or like understanding what I'm reading. I just mean that like I don't have to think too hard when I'm reading it. But I'm also not into like the bones of the book yet, if that makes sense. Obviously, there's going to be a romance between the prince and this witch. I fear that's the whole point of the book. I'm not sure when the like switch went from like him kind of hating her to like him being interested in her. I think I missed that. But so far, things are going fine, other than when she almost got killed. But you know, them's the rules of fantasy. There was this like little line where they were like his fated, which I think is like supposed to be like his mate or whatever. His fated, this prince, it died. His fated died apparently during this like raid, or like not raid, this like slaughtering of this castle that she used to be in. And I think she might be Fae and witch. That's my prediction. I think that she is. They're like, she died. His fated died during the like ransacking of this castle, and I'm like, I think that's her though. Anyway, I picked some really fun royalty free music for this video, and I hope you enjoy while I show you a small clip of me reading this book before I start talking again. Enjoy. It is now around 1:10 and I finished this book. There were a few breaks that I needed to take just to handle some stuff, but other than that, she's done. Basically, a lot of foreshadowing was built up in the book, and sometimes I do wonder like what is the difference between foreshadowing and just like wink wink telling. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that it was not a good book. Like I didn't have a bad time with it, but it felt a little surface level, if that makes sense. There were a few things kind of like thrown in there that I was just kind of like, alrighty, great. Would I recommend it? Yeah, sure, of course. I would never not recommend a book because I always know that a book is written for someone very specifically. And maybe I'm not that person, but you know what? The High Mountain Court could be for you. Now that that's done, I'm probably going to make lunch and then I am going to start this one. The only plans I currently have now are to meet up with some friends for happy hour, like around the corner from where I live. And so I'm thinking I might go over like a half hour early and maybe get my first drink and read at the bar for a little bit and then, you know, vibe. So it's 1:10 now. I don't have drinks until 5:30. I probably need to leave here at like 5:28. How long is this book? This book is 289 pages. If I do like a pretty good reading sprint, I feel like I could probably do it. Yeah, I bet I could finish this before I leave. I mm, I have some Trader Joe's like frozen meals. I can just pop one of those in. I don't have to cook. Anyway, okay, grand. So we're gonna start the Art of Vanishing. If I had to give the High Mountain Court on a ratings of 1 to 5 stars, I think I would probably go with like 3.25. Yeah, I'll do 3.25. Because one of the things that I will say about this book is that it didn't try to do too much, right? Like there were certain things where I was like, I guess I could have done a little bit more of that, but like it would have added, to the book unnecessarily, I guess. but like it didn't try to like expand into something like, like tell you everything about this world. Like it's a series, right? So you're going to learn more about the world through these other characters and how they live in this world. So like I didn't need to know everything. But okay, one book down, potentially two more to go. The Art of Vanishing is up next. So let's do this. So I just had lunch. It's like 1:50-ish, and I am one chapter into the Art of Vanishing. So I'm gonna sit back down in my yellow chair, which is the only place that I exist anymore, and just dive right back in. That was so fun. I'm now unwell. I have so much that I want to say about this book. And I did message Morgan, the author, mid read, and I was like, listen here. One fun thing about me is that my degree actually is in art history with a little touch of archaeology. And so I have spent just hours upon hours upon hours in museums. And I also have spent a lot of time focusing on art theft and repatriation and provenance. So, like repatriation, obviously returning works of art to where they were stolen from. Looking at you, British Museum. And then and then one of my favorite things to study is provenance, which is, like the history of a work of art, right? Like the passing of ownership so that you know if it's a fake or not, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And one of the things when I was studying that was to study like the difference between like a normal museum or, like a government museum or like something like the Met, right? Versus a private collection. So like the Frick collection, which the Met and the Frick are on the same street. One is a public museum, and the other is like a private collection, Henry Frick. So this book very clearly kind of right off the bat, it says, like this is a private collection. Nothing has been moved the way that it was like since the way that the collector wanted it to be. And like slowly things start like clicking into place with all of the little like Easter eggs and crumbs that like Morgan was leaving, that I was like, this is the Barnes Foundation. And if there is one private collection that truly like captivated me and was my special interest for the entirety of my grad school program, it was the Barnes Foundation. Every painting in this book you can find in the Barnes Foundation. If you are ever in Philly, I recommend starting there, going there first and spending hours at the Barnes and then going to the Philly Museum. I love the Barnes. The history of it is so fraught. There are so many amazing books actually written about the Barnes and like the history of it. I even wrote a paper about it, which I won't share publicly. I only got an 89% on that paper, and to this day, I'm like still pissed about it. Anyway, this book, let's actually get into it. The book is about. So this book follows Claire, who like has the ability to like go into paintings, which is my dream, Claire. And she kind of falls in love with a guy in a painting. And it's just like such a genuine, so like it's just so sweet and so heartbreaking. There is a surprise quarantine, like COVID twist. And I was like, Morgan, I think it just is really important, the like commentary that we have about like who can see art and when can they see art and like what art means to people to be able to see it and like the impact it can have and what happens when it's taken away. And I think like I was depressed during the pandemic simply because I couldn't go to museums and see art, and so that really like resonated with me. Yeah, I really really enjoyed this. The interesting thing about this book is that like half of the characters are within works of art, so they're like it's a slice of life because like it's a slice of Claire's life and like as she's working in this museum and like what it means for her as she's like falling in love and or like kind of just like finding herself. But it's a slice of life for these infinite immortal paintings, which I find really fascinating. And I highly doubt Morgan watches my YouTube channel. If you are, so sorry. What are you doing here? But I found like just the dialogue between like what it means to live a life and like this idea of like these are all paintings of like real people who lived and like how they are portrayed through life, and like there's all these snippets of all of the like tours that go through and how they're talking about the art, and it's like, god, could you imagine spending your life having other people like saying who you are just based off like one representation of yourself? Crazy. Anyway, I really liked it. 5 stars. Had a fun time with it. It is now 5:20. So I did finish it before going to happy hour, as I said. And you know what? Damn. Damn. The next book, as I mentioned, is When the Moon Hatched. And it's so big and heavy. So I do think I'm going to read it on my Kindle. Going to grab that, going to put on some shoes, and I'm going to go socialize for a bit. And then after that, I'll come back and I'll continue reading. Summer Fridays. Such a fun time. Okay, I found my Kindle, and I have the book on here now. So I'm going to get ready to head out. Hey. um so happy hour turned into like happy hours. Many of them. I have since had drinks and I have had fries. And then I had water. I tried to get a little bit of reading in, before everybody arrived. I'm only 7 pages in, which is 2%. I read the prologue, but I'm going to be so for real with you right now, bestie. I don't remember a lot of it, so I'm probably going to have to reread it. I'm really happy to be reunited with my Kindle Oasis. I'm very happy about that. I think personally that sometimes I read books faster when I read them in physical form than if I read them on my Kindle because I feel like I can physically feel how quickly I'm reading. And then other times I feel like I read on my Kindle just so quickly. So I don't really know what experience this is going to be so far, but I do think that there, listen, okay, here's the thing. I'm exhausted. I have been reading all day, baby, all day. Oh my God, I need to stop talking. Here's the thing. Okay. With reading this book, I only, after this one, have 9 books left on my physical TBR. That's crazy. Here's the compromise I'm going to make. This could potentially be the very end of this video. And you'll go, wow, that was really great until it wasn't. I remember at the beginning of the day, I said that I wanted to get halfway through this book. Not going to happen. Okay, here's the deal. This is what we're going to do. I'm not reading anymore this evening. It's already been decided. I just know it's not going to happen. I want to go to bed. I do. Which is a crazy thing for an insomniac to say, honestly. I should really just roll with it while I have the chance. So, my weekend goal then is going to be When the Moon Hatched. And that I can do that, that's easy. I guess all of this to say is thank you so much for being here. I read 2 books, which is actually quite crazy. I didn't even read 2 books. I read one entire book and then I read 3/4 of another book. But considering the fact that I was able to focus for that amount of time, I would say great. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that you got some good book recs out of this. In the meantime, happy reading, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and oh my gosh, please like and subscribe. Mwah. Thank you.